For years and years we waited for the coolest toys ever made, and begged and pleaded till our hopes and dreams were saved. Now the toys are here, and with Adam and Bert we'll play. Batman 66 is great, totally not gay. Batman, na 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 na. Figures, na 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 na. Mattel, na 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 na. Batman, na 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 na. Awesome, thank you, Jesus. Na 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 na. Fanboys. Whoa! Whoa! What an illusion!
Atomic batteries to power.
And my friends, that's just the box, because today, Brandon and I, we are the Fanboys Forever.
Yes.
We're going to be reviewing the very first Batman 66 toy that we managed to get our hands on. They're just now starting to hit at a few online retailers, but before anybody else, we have you the review of the, for now, Toysrus exclusive 66 Batmobile.
Oh my lord, she's a beauty too.
Unfortunately, we're only going to be reviewing the box. No, not quite. But we thought we'd just start with a little teaser where we talk about the box a little bit, some of the cool stuff you will see on it. So take it away.
Yes, well, of course, we very infrequently discuss packaging because we think it's usually a waste of time. But this box is so, fantastic. It's really a good part of the value of the toy. She's beautiful. There's a lot of terrific original artwork on the back. Unfortunately, they did not get the rights to use, or we assume they didn't get the rights to use any actual photographs from the series or the feature film, but what we get is great period-style comic book artwork. You have Batman and Robin, a big splash image on the back, and then little profiles for all the villains, all the individual figures in the line. Then on each end, there's a terrific piece of artwork of Batman and Robin in the Batmobile. And then a great piece of artwork of the solo Batmobile on the front.
The one negative I would have to say about this package is it's not held in with just tape. In other words, you actually have to rip this panel off from this interesting glue knit that they have going on here. But beyond that, though, the packaging stays in great shape the way they have it. So, speaking of packaging, I want to talk about the insert then that you get inside, because this is really, really cool. What you have is a kind of display facade of the Batcave. As you can see in there, you can see the atomic battery back there in the Batcave, whatever you want to call it, and all the other stuff in the cave. It's all kind of in a purple tint, so you can definitely have your figures up here and sort of have a Batcave background on the back. That's not a problem for us on the Batcave playset, but we'll talk about that later. But of course, you've got these interesting little plastic kind of holding trays on the sides, and let me show you what you can do. All you have to do is take the Batmobile, and one end is shaped to hold the repulsor in the back, and the other is shaped to hold the front. And as you can see, it's in there. So, if you want to display it like this is actually ideal. But to get it back out, it's very simple. You don't risk any damage to the Batmobile. So, great stuff. Something to note is that when you first get the Batmobile out of the packaging, there's actually some nice little plastic display stands. There's 3 of them, almost like a tripod underneath the Batmobile.
Now, really, these, I think, are just meant to be a packaging, mechanism, something to hold it in place. But really, if you're going to be displaying your Batmobile permanently, if you want it sitting on a shelf without worrying about it rolling around, if you just leave these in, it'll set flat on the table. Works very well, and they're very sturdy. They're not really, crappy, box plastic or anything. They're solid material. As
you can see, you just unplug them, and they have these 2 little tiny pegs that fit into 2 holes on the bottom. Now, if you want to, you can keep those in there. And then when you put it down, there's no chance of it rolling or anything like that. And it stays slightly suspended. So it kind of gives a little more stability to the car if you want to make sure it's not rolling off the shelf. And I actually appreciate it. It's a pretty cool little pack-in item that they didn't have to do, but it works really well.
Gives a very good illusion. It's the 1966 Batmobile, piloted by Adam West himself, a classic television series. There have been toys of this Batmobile before, going back to the 60s. We've gotten nice little die-cast miniatures, even Hot Wheels did their version, which was terrific. But we've never really had a toy line for the TV show. So this is very significant for us toy collectors. It's a shame it took, over 45 years. You think of all the people that would have loved to have seen it that have gone on. That's really unfortunate, but just God bless you, Mattel, for doing it. That's all I can say, because we waited our entire lives to see these toys, honestly.
The release of the Batmobile is just as important as releasing Batman himself from the series, because the Batmobile is just as famous as Batman himself. This is probably the most recognizable TV or movie car in the world, known as the Batmobile. I mean, this, from sea to shining sea, this is the Batmobile for, I believe, the vast majority of folks on planet Earth. So we can't wait to get right into showing you the finer elements of the Batmobile.
You know, one of the absolute strengths of the 1966 Batmobile is that it is both beautiful and simplistic. You know, it's not an over complex design, and that's just represented beautifully in the sculpt. Every smooth curve you see in the show is molded in. The doors don't open, but there are molded lines on the doors where the seams would be. Very small details like the trunk latch on the back. You have the turbine and even the parachute pouches. And no textural detail is left to the imagination. Even things like the small bats inside of the spokes of the tires are little sculpted pieces instead of just being painted on. Even things like the grille on front and the headlights are sculpted. And then, like Mattel always does with their Batmobiles, you get some very intricate mechanical work on the bottom. I don't know if they had any actual reference for the 66 Batmobile to show the inner workings, but if this is something they came up with, it's quite a good job. There's some small sculpted details on the top. You have the instrument in the front of the windscreens. There are these sirens on top, and the smokestacks on the back.
You know, a great sculpt is nothing without great paint, and Mattel has really delivered. Now, of course, there's not a whole lot of paint application on the Batmobile, but it's only when you get into the finer details that you realize some of the beautiful work that they've done. Everything is kind of in a gloss sort of finish. Now, as I move the Batmobile, you can see how the light hits it, just like the paint job on the actual car. So that, in and of itself, is beautiful. The black is consistent all the way through. It's kind of got that great glossy sort of look to it. I believe that must be a product of just the type of plastic they use, but I'll still talk about it in paint application. Now, as we can see, there is this beautiful rim right around here with the lines going through. This is more of an orange than it is a red, which is completely screen accurate. The man who designed the Batmobile always says that he actually used a darker shade of orange rather than red, so it is completely screen accurate. You can see that the bat symbol is a decal that's applied to the sides, and it's totally consistent with this one. Mattel was sure to make sure that they had a kind of consistent placement for the decal all around. Now, the kind of instrument here is painted separately, so that's great. That could have very easily been left black. Even on the back with the turbine, we have a nice kind of silvery paint job. As you can see, it catches the light really well. And even down here, we have the license plate painted, which I'll go into a little bit later. We do have the pipes, the exhaust pipes, that are a kind of gray, silvery plastic. And on the wheels, we have separately painted hubcaps and a little bat symbol that is a separate piece. It's also important to note the wheels are hard plastic, they're not rubber, so that's unfortunate. However, these may hold up to a little bit more abuse and a little bit more time than the rubber wheels, which might have degraded. Now, of course, we have this beautiful kind of silver that goes all around the kind of windshields on the front and on the back. We even have paint application for the door handles. There's even the tiniest paint application on the back for the parachutes that would come out. As we can see, even the headlights are painted this awesome orange tone. Sure enough, it makes the Batmobile look very menacing. The sirens on the top, completely painted, silver and red. Basically, that's what the Batmobile consists of, straight silver, black, and red. But the design, however simplistic, is beautiful. Now, of course, the Batmobile is only as good as the sum of its parts, and maybe some of the very most important parts of any great vehicle are the interior details. We've seen Mattel fumble again and again on this certain category in most of the Batmobiles they've released lately. Usually the cockpits are barren with nothing in them. Not this time. Check this out. All these great details in the cockpit. It's lost no paint application since its first showing at Toy Fair. Just beautiful all the way through. Boy, to go over each of these are just stunning. Here we have a Bat fire extinguisher. As you can see, it even has the Bat decal inside. Here we have the gear shift lever. Now, there's also little instruments on the sides and even a little gear shift here. As we turn it around, we can see the bat phone inside that Batman kept, a car phone, which was kind of ahead of its time. And then we have little paint applications on the dash. We have a silver plastic used for the glove compartment and other areas. We've got 2 dots right here of red. We even have a little black navigator or speedometer. The steering wheel has its own separate plastic colors and can turn easily. There's even seat belts. As we can see, little bat symbol seat belts that actually disconnect. So you can buckle your figures right in and then put it right through the hole at the bottom. Now, as we can see at the bottom, the seat belts feed through this little area. Now, they won't be quite as long once you have a figure strapped in there, so don't worry about these coming out too long and hitting the floor as you roll the Batmobile. No detail was left to chance. As we can see on the sides here with a little bridge that connects the 2 seats, it says emergency bat turn lever, and even has 2 little emergency lights on the sides. Now, as we can see, same one over here. Batman and Robin actually used this device in the show to make emergency turns, so pretty awesome that they would include it. Of course, some of the other little details are the ridges and the little circles here that's right behind each of the seats. And as we can see, the seats are actually very well sculpted. All little details that could have been completely neglected by Mattel, but instead here they are in their full glory. Now, my favorite little detail of all, however, would have to be the license plate. I'm sure this thing is screen accurate. I've not checked it number by number, but it's awesome. What we do have down here is Gotham 66. What a wonderful little touch. It actually dates the car. Batman has an up-to-date license plate for the year 1966. I couldn't have asked for more. What an excellent little addition.
Now, of course, the 66 Batmobile is an adult collector's toy, and so it's not full of play features like your Power Tag Batmobiles or your movie line Batmobiles. But its playability is in its screen accuracy. It's just a great way to recreate scenes from the TV series with your toys. Like I said before, the doors don't actually open. Neither do the trunk or the hood, but there are seam lines. The only real movable part of the Batmobile is, of course, the rolling wheels, and they roll very smoothly. So, no problems recreating all of your terrific Batmobile moves from the show.
We do not have any of the Batman 66 figures yet. Why? They've not been released yet. Big Bad has the 2-pack of Batman and Robin, but it's simple. I just don't want to pay their shipping costs, so I'm going to wait out Amazon where you can get free Prime shipping, so I'd much rather do that. Instead, we have this to show you.
Yes. As you know, we are tremendous fans of the Power Tag Batman line, and we have the basic blue and gray Batman with the basic Robin figure, and they're in about the same scale as the 66 figures, so they actually fit quite well inside. And a pretty good visual match, too. In fact, we've discussed this. I wouldn't be surprised if they can pull it off anyway legally. We might see this mold just stripped down a little bit and reused in Power Attack at some point in the future. I mean, it would be a shame to let it get one release and then that'll be it. I just hope they do. I hope they release it several times anyway. And maybe some weird variations. Maybe even do a nicer version. Maybe with some die-cast parts and some more elaborate paint details. But yep, your Power Attack figures will fit nicely in here. Unfortunately, any of your DC Universe Classics or your Movie Masters are not going to fit because they have the molded plastic capes instead of the soft good capes. That's another big advantage of the Power Attack figures in this situation. All right, folks, for another scale comparison, here we have the 2012 Mattel release, the Power Attack Blast and Battle Batcave. Now, this is a 6-inch scale Batcave playset. It's the very first ever 6-inch scale Batcave playset. So let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that Mattel is never going to do a 1966 Batman TV series Batcave playset. All right, it would be a little hard to approach anyway. This is as close as you're going to get, and it's actually a very nice fit. One of the very best play features with this Batcave is the opening garage door, so you can roll your Batmobile in. And like we said, the width between when you compare the 66 Batmobile and the Power Tag Batmobiles is just about the same. So luckily, it will roll right inside. It's a terrific fit. It's a great visual. I can't wait to get the Adam West and Burt Ward Batman and Robin figures because you can imagine how nice they'll look just arranged here. You have things like, this facsimile for the fireman's pole that they slide into the Batcave on. the Bat computer, of course. Just all kinds of terrific things. In fact, I'd very much like to see a company, maybe Repro Labels, do a sticker sheet. You know, they could have Batman 66 specific images for the computer. They could have a picture of the atomic turbine to stick somewhere in the background. Maybe even a sticker of the fire poles they could put in the elevator. That'd be great.
We've got a little bit of a scale comparison going on here. Many of you will be familiar with this very popular retail Batmobile. It's actually our most famous review here at Fanboys Forever. It has more hits than any other. As you can see, the Total Destruction Batmobile took a few visual cues from the Batman 66 card. It is a really nice Batmobile, but not as long, actually, as the 66 card. When we look, however, at width, they're practically the same. The widest points on the Total Destruction car are about as wide as the widest points on the 66 Batmobile. But however, in terms of length, there's no comparison. As we can easily see, the 66 car is much longer by several inches. Here we have the grandchild of the Batman 66 car, the Blast Lane Batmobile. It used the same color scheme, a beautiful car, great tribute to the Batmobiles of yesterday, and a wonderful tribute in terms of color to the 66 Batman show. Now, as we can see, once again, the 66 Batmobile is quite a bit longer by several inches, and the 66 Batmobile is a little bit wider. It's kind of hard to tell from this comparison, but it's just a tad wider, if not the exact same width. So they look really great together and would really look nice displayed side by side. All right, folks, there you have it. Our review of probably the most special and most historically significant Batmobile that we've ever done here at Fanboys Forever.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people clamoring for that 89 Batmobile in 6-inch scale, but I'd be hard-pressed to say that this wouldn't have been my number one pick. And so, you know, just very lucky that we got this one.
Now, of course, we were all super disappointed with San Diego Comic-Con here at Fanboys Forever. Saw the death of the DC Unlimited and Batman Unlimited retail lines. Really broke my heart.
The outrageously expensive Ghostbusters Ecto one. That's a point we want to bring up, you know.
Absolutely.
This is such a terrific bargain, you know. $60 for a whole lot of vehicle. Mattel is intending to charge, and I know that there's a difference in, you know, it's a limited production. It uses some more, you know, some slightly better materials and has some extra features. The Ecto one, which will be, you know, the same scale, is going to be $215. I just don't see it.
I can't for this. I mean, it's just ridiculous to me. If you can get this for $60 at Toys R Us, and it's such a wonderful vehicle, it makes me question Mattel's judgment on including light and sound features and stuff, including gimmicks and play features and opening trunks. I don't think we really need any of that, because for a collector's item, I think we're going to put it on display, and we're going to have our figures displayed in it. All I need is something that looks really nice and the wheels turn. Yeah. That is wonderful with me. This is as good as it gets, folks.
Absolutely. Just a terrific piece, you know, just a great toy for a great Batmobile.
Absolutely.
You know, we've gotten good toys for Batmobiles that weren't as good, and great Batmobiles that got pretty bad toys. But this is just the, you know, the absolute perfect balance. A terrific piece.
If you have any sort of fond memories of Batman 66, whether you saw it in the early 90s like we did on the Family Channel, or you had that recorded VHS that you drag out from Family Channel marathons and you put it on, or that
I've still got mine.
That old mid-90s reissue of Batman the movie on VHS. I mean, so many good memories of Batman 66 for all generations. Your grandfather remembers Batman 66. You know, your mom remembers Batman 66. Buy this, because this will not only bring back the memories, this is a celebration of one of the most important pop culture phenomenons of that decade.
Absolutely. You know, I believe we've only given this rating once before, but I'm going to give the 66 Batmobile 5 out of 5 stars.
Absolutely. There's nothing holding this car back. 5 out of 5 stars. Some people may have wanted rubber tires for the price point. Me personally, rubber tires can be sort of a liability and can break down over time, just like rubber on any toy, so I'm actually much more satisfied with the plastic ones. You're not going to be rolling this thing on blacktop, so it's not like you're going to be worried about the tires getting torn up or something like that. I mean,
you don't need traction to roll it on a carpet.
Right, so I mean, this is definitely... this is a perfect, what I would call a perfect toy. As we said before, the price point may be a little off-putting to some people, but please consider that Mattel wants $215 for the Ecto 1 in the same scale as the Batmobile. So consider that when you go to buy this awesome collectible.
Well, folks, we've been waiting a little over 20 years. I guess I would say since we were 3 or 4 years old. We've been
That's
watching
right.
Batman
3 or 4
'66,
years
so well over 20 years we've been waiting to get toys of this stuff, and I can tell you unequivocally that it was worth the wait.
Absolutely. This car will be the gem of your Batman collection, and is certainly going to be in front of all my other Batmobiles as the granddaddy leader of the pack. So until next time, folks, this has been Jared.
And this has been Brandon.
We wish you all the best. God bless you, and go out and buy this beautiful toy.
Fanboys forever, signing out, old chums.
For years and years we waited for the coolest toys ever made, and begged and pleaded till our hopes and dreams were saved. Now the toys are here, and with Adam and Bert we'll play. Batman 66 is great, totally not gay. Batman, na 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 na. Figures, na 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 na. Mattel, na 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 na. Batman, na 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 na. Awesome, thank you, Jesus. Na 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 na.